Welcome to another episode of Rusted Up Garage. If you haven't done so, please be sure to like, share, and like. We're trying to gain some more followers, so hit the button, hit the share button, hit the bell, just hit some stuff. We need some people to hit some stuff so we can just get this channel bigger. But anyways, we're going back to doing some 55 content today. I gotta stop saying This whole Facebook thing's relatively new to me. Facebook, God. This whole YouTube thing is relatively new to me, and cameraing myself and trying to do stuff on camera, and then like I start something and I'm like, why didn't I start recording this? But anyways, I'm trying to get better, and I'm trying to get you guys some decent content, and we're just building crap. That's what we're doing. So currently, Sick Week is in a month. So we are part of Sick Ward. And our idea was that we're going to take the 55 for its maiden voyage on Sick Ward. But the problem is she is not ready for that. It's just, I wouldn't take it that far, but we're going to anyways, because that's the right thing to do. But we are going to give her a few upgrades. I have a lot of upgrades to do, but getting parts in has been a problem. So again, I have a new automatic transmission coming for it, 4L60E, but that may or may not come this month, so that don't help me. I have ordered a new rear end for it. I have got the housing in, but that's it. I've ordered new springs for the car, and again, they haven't made it the way you need either. So basically, we're going to change out the parts we can. Rear main's leaking a little. I mean, it's leaking. I'm going to put some of that fixer rear main seal in her. I think that might help her out. Plus an oil change probably can help it out too. And valve cover gaskets, because they're pouring out of the back of those too. But I think we're going to get it fixed enough so we can run it. So the main big things are, we got to remove out the heater. That's the other thing. I got freaking vintage air coming for it. I ordered 3 months ago. I haven't gotten that yet either. So we won't have air. But I'm going to remove the heater box, and I'm going to remove all that stuff. Again, we're kind of starting to molest this car now, but that's because we want it to be a driver. That's the whole idea behind this car. I'm going to keep it stock. I know it's pretty much a Survivor, and we're going to keep it pretty stock on the outside, the interior, all that. I'm not going to mess with any of that, but I want this thing to drive. I want to be able to bump key, take it, and just go anywhere with it, and not worry about it being a 55. So, with that being said, for Sick Week, I need to get rid of the fan, because she has, which I've already removed. Wow, that's like right. Sorry about that, peoples. So she had the old finger chopper, X-roller, whatever you want to call this thing. I'm just saying, this thing right here, back then they made these babies out of steel, and it'll take your arm right off. I mean, that thing is not giving up. And but it also don't cool very well. So I have removed that from here. And we're gonna make up some brackets so we can get this new Permacool, basically electronic fan, because we're gonna be sitting in some traffic and such, so we need to be able to cool off this old girl. Let me turn that down. So we have removed the fan. There's just enough clearance, and it's been a hard, see, something a lot of people don't understand is that a 55 Olds is its own unit. So you can't use like all the stuff for a 55 Chevy, which is readily available. Everything's different. So basically, I'm having to modify and figure this out as we go. So I have found some parts, and I have found some stuff that's going to work. It's just we got to do a little welding, fabricating, and such. So basically, we're going to work on that project. Not today. I got it apart. I got to go pick up metal for that. But I am going to start removing the heater core and all that stuff. I'm going to try to get everything up underneath here cleaned out. We're going to do a battery relocation kit to the back, get the battery out of the front of this thing. I got to change the wiper motor out. I have those parts. So I also have the MSD ignition for it. So I might as well put the MSD in it. And I might as well put I don't know if we're gonna have a chance. I'm hoping to be able to get the fuel injection on it. May or may not happen, but that's the goal. I have a fuel tank coming forward. I have all the fuel pump stuff here. I also have all the stuff for dual exhaust. But it just sucks to have to do all that work, and then we're gonna still pull the motor to fix everything. So it is what it is. So I guess I've already started taking the heater box apart. I am going to continue working on that. I'm gonna put you up on the tripod, just kind of let you watch for a few minutes. I also gotta get into the window wiper area and get that removed. And I'm trying to think of a few other things we gotta get done for this thing to actually go. I wanna try to power wash it. She has some grease. I mean, she's built up some grease. But we're gonna change the parts we can do. The other thing too is we're gonna change out the generator. This thing has a generator. We're gonna switch it to an alternator. Now I did get this really cool, here, let me flip her open. So it's basically a replacement. It's a replacement charging whirler. So I mean, basically, this thing looks just like factory. I mean, she looks just like factory. You won't even know the difference, except for it's actually going to make power. So basically, we're going to change out the old. She's a little dark right there. We're going to change out that guy right there, the old charging whirler, because she don't like running anything like too electrical. It's just not that good at that. So we're gonna fix on that, but we are gonna get this big old honking box out of here, get room in here. We're gonna build a plate for this. I think that's where I think we're gonna put the MSD box there, and probably the fuel injection stuff is all gonna go on this firewall. And then she's gonna be easier for future. But I'm gonna throw it on the stand, and we're gonna start pulling this box apart, and probably get inside, pull the heater stuff out of inside, and have it ready for vintage air. So when that stuff does come, we can start plumbing it in. The other thing too is I'm going to remove, there is the battery, and we're gonna remove all that. We did pull out the mason jar that was sitting here for the vacuum stuff. We pulled that out already because we needed room for the electric fan. So, but here we go. Here's the every size tool. When you're working on these old cars, they expect you to have one of these. Yeah, we're definitely finding some room to do some stuff in here now. That's nice. So, as you can see, we removed that heater box, and it really does free a guy up some room. I mean, there's a lot of room for activities right here now. I do got to go inside the car, and I'm gonna have to remove on the heater core, and I got to remove on the exchanger here, get rid of all that, and then I can make panels basically to cover this up and get this cleaned up. I also got to remove the vacuum wiper motor. That's round, I can see what I'm staring at. So yeah, the wiper motor is vacuum operated. So basically don't work. So I gotta remove on that, and I have an electric one to put in there. But I'm very happy with this. I'm glad. You can see a little rust down there. The heater core leaked on the floor and it was a mess. So, but yeah, this really frees up this corner for a lot of room. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff here. So, but we got to clean up that side too, because you got a voltage regulator, all that stuff gets to go away, of course, with the battery. So we're gonna really just keep plucking away on pulling crap out of here, and then I guess we get to start putting it back together. So I'm gonna turn you off for a few minutes, and I'll turn you back on here just a little bit, and we get doing something else. Okay, we're back rolling now. So I have removed the battery, and I removed the generator, but I'm gonna show you guys what we got going on. There's a ton more room for activities. I mean, we can do some stuff now. So, but I did want to show you one thing. It's crazy. Once I grab, whew, sorry, right up the nose. Let me flip this sucker over. I'm gonna show you guys something here. So, if you can see down in there, there's enough light. Is there enough light down there? Probably not. Let's do that right there. Now you can see. So, that's the A-frame right there. This thing's really crooked. It's really driving me insane. Let me fix you guys here so you're not quite so crooked. There we go. Now I can do some activities. So, that's the A-frame where the battery was. And so there's a lot more space here now. I gotta remove the voltage regulator here. But we got a lot more space on this side. And once I removed on the generator on this side, let me move the light so you guys can tell your peepers on all this. There we go. So, something crazy. I think they greased it. I don't think greasing was a problem on this thing. And they just, it was ridiculous. My God, this is like, I don't even know how many years. All the years. I mean, that's some good grease right there. I mean, this front end couldn't be loose if it wanted to be with all this grease. I mean, I think the other side had more. I mean, it was just crazy. Everything like that on this front end is all greasy. I mean, it's just a mess. We got to get all that cleaned up. Scott, I don't want to work on that. It's just, that's got grease. Unlike the, I mean, that's like, I mean, look at that pile. That's just insane. Let's put this thing right or somewhere. Right where I'm going to touch it here just a little bit. Yeah, so basically I just want to show you guys the grease that's just down there. It's just crazy. So, and then this one right here has a vacuum pump on top of the fuel pump on these that would help create more vacuum to run the other systems. So that's what all this is. And that's what this top canister actually is right here. So that right there actually is a vacuum. That's part of the fuel pump. So kind of neat system they had. little dual system that they ran back then. We're gonna delete on all that again because we're gonna be putting fuel injection in this sucker. So once we get fuel injection, technically that whole fuel pump assembly go away. We'll put a block off plate there. But I mean, you can get in here now and really, you know, see here, lay this light back over here. You guys can see, but we got a lot more room for the fan now, and we got a lot more room for a lot of things now. So I'm gonna keep plugging away. I do got to pull a few more items from there. I also got to get this window wiper motor off, and then we're gonna be hitting the inside of the sucker, and I got to do some cleaning. She's dirty, so there's a lot of work to do to get the sucker ready for sick week. But we're getting there. I think I'm gonna disconnect on this hose. I wish I knew how to make this thing lighter. Like, let's see if I can lighten it up. Does that lighten it up? That lighten it up? Nope, that darkens it. That's it. Yeah, that's lighter. Okay, there, now you guys can do some seeing. Lighten the sucker up. Oh, yeah, you can do, you see the exhaust down there, it's pretty nice. There's a big hole in it. So I did the right thing and basically put a clamp over top of it with some muffler goop, and that fixed on her. I mean, that really just let the exhaust just out the back. Oh, that was a repair when I first got it. The old Exhaust-O-Matic band clamp special that I did. That was pretty nice. There. Now, yeah, you can really lay it out now. You can see the room we have to put everything in here. And then there'll actually be room for an little AC compressor right there when we do the vintage air. Now, we're getting there. I'm gonna keep pulling the sucker apart and get more of this crap out of our way so we can start looking at the reassembly process. Because we got a wiring kit to put in it and a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we got tons of parts. We got, woo, yeah, it happens when you layer them. Let's darken it back up. Exhaust manifolds. There we go. And then we got the exhaust and a bunch of other parts. So basically we have a pile more stuff to do. So we're just gonna keep plugging away. That right there is very interesting. So you got the vacuum wiper motor here, and then it hooks on just this bracket right here, and then this bracket screwed down to the firewall, which has cables in it. So you don't want them cables coming loose. That'll really screw things up. But this will give me a chance by unscrewing all that and get this cleaned up. And it is old sealant, and then I'll put down a layer of new sealant right here. New sealant around that, squish that back down, so then we know we'll have good sealant around this right here, which hooks right back to there. Get that all sealed back up, and then I put the wiper motor on top of that. So that's there's a new wiper motor. So basically this is the new wiper motor, which as you can see has electricals. So basically this one has high, low, and delay. It's kind of cool. And then there's just a little square ball right here. just sits back on there, just like that. And then when you pull the button inside, like that, it goes like that on them. Just, you know, it's kind of neat, actually. Kind of a neat little design. But yeah, so this is going to replace the old vacuum one, and then we're going to have wiper action. Okay, we are back inside the car, and as you can see, she's all original in here. I did remove the glove box door and the glove box. They're actually cardboard. It's kind of cool how they did that. These cars are like really cool. They're just so simple. But I want to bring in here and kind of show you what was in here before I go taking it out to replace it. That's the old tuner. She has all the AMs. So, but we're not after that. We're going to look up underneath here. So, as you can see in here, I mean, that's all she's got right there. Is let's lighten that up. You can see in there. So that's the fuse panel. All 8 fuses, and really it only uses 7 because it has an AC fuse, but it's not using it. So that's it for the fuse panel. But then if you look in here, you can kind of see how the wipers work. Right there. So that's where it comes in from outside on the wiper motor, and then it's just these 2 cables. One's crisscrossed because it flips the wiper the other direction, and then they just have the wiper motor. It's kind of a neat little setup how they did that. And then the heater is right down here. Let me see if I can get it. So it's basically this little heater box. You can basically open the vent for summer or close it for winter. And it does have a defroster, which is that tube there. I took the tube off, which is that guy there. And then it has a mixing valve right there. So basically, you got to pull the mixing valve out, and I got to pull this whole, it's like washing out in there. I got to pull out this heater box in here, and then once I get all this out, there'll be room for, to put the Vintage Air box up in here. And I bought a one of them plastic ones. Basically it's a test fitter so you can get it all to work. So I did remove that panel just for ease, but yeah, it's super simple up underneath these suckers. It's crazy how just back then how easy everything was compared to now. Because I mean, even the heaters, they use these, basically these right here. You had vents, which somebody got rid of this vent before I got the car, because when they put power brakes on it, they had to do that. And then over here, you basically had low and high on the fan, and you had heat or defrost. So one controlled how much heat, which is this guy here, how hot you wanted it, that one. And then this one right here was, do you want defrost or do you want it on the floor? That was your options. Kind of a cool little setup. And then this was the vacuum wiper switch. So, sorry, I'm not even showing you the vacuum wiper switch. So I got to rework that into the new switch that'll control the wipers. The idea is to keep it all looking stock. So even like this stuff, Vintage don't sell something for an Oldsmobile. So I'm going to convert. So I'm using part of a 55 and part of, I think it's a Camaro, the way that they're done. And I'm actually going to be able to use these knobs and cables, which are right here. It's these cables right here. And I'm going to run them into the controller for the Vintage Air. And you'll be able to run these knobs just like you always did back in the olden days. And it'll run the Vintage Air. So it'd be kind of cool. You won't really know, but it'll totally look stock and stuff. So that's neat. The other thing too that I found is this is the speaker. I didn't realize behind the clock right here, that is the speaker for the old AM. It had the single speaker. You can't really see it well. Maybe you can come back in here. I don't know, but it's kind of crazy. It has like all kinds of crap extra. It's definitely a lot different. I am going to send the radio out and get it fixed for FM. They'll do them in MP3, and it's the same radio, and they basically just fix them so they work for everything. So that's that. But I kind of want to show you what we got going, and now I'm going to continue working on getting this box out. There's not really a whole lot to show you here, but I'm gonna get the box tore out, and then we can start mocking in the Vintage Air. I also have a new fuse panel. We are going to swap everything out to a Ron Francis wiring harness, so we're gonna be upgrading the wiring in this thing as well. So we have, let me go flip back. So we still have lots to do to get this thing ready for Sick Week, but we're working on it day by day. We'll have her knocked out in no time. Okay, heater box removed. Success. They're actually really simple. So it was basically just a few screws on the inside, and here's the unit. So here's that unit that was inside. As you can see, she was pretty rusty up underneath it. It was leaking. There was a few wires here for temperature control if the door was open and if it did the vents and stuff, but not much. And then you got the heater controller here, which that one's leaking, and the heater core, which was definitely leaking. So all that's removed, and it's kind of dark in here now. But let me see if I turn this light back on for you. So I gotta plug up the hole. There's a few wires here that need to be removed and vacuum lines, and then the rods. But other than that, she's pretty well. She's emptied out in here pretty well. Now, sorry for all the, but now you see that's all missing. I got to cut a patch for all that, plug all that in, clean this up, and then all the MSD stuff can all mount right there. So, but there's that. Now I just got to get the Vintage Air box, and I'll see how that fits up in there. Okay, so basically here's a Vintage Air box right here. So this is basically just a plastic shell. So you can basically mount it. They give different options, so you can do all the prep work with the bracketry. They give you a couple different bracket options here, and then some instruction manuals, and you kind of see instruction manuals here, Vintage Air. So next we're going to be basically seeing how this sucker right here fits up underneath that dash area, so we can have all this pre-prepped, so when I actually get the unit in, we can just slide it up in there and then hook it up. It's a lot of work for air, but I'm telling you, I live in the South, air is good. Back to Rusted Up Garage. I don't know exactly where we hung the last video, as far as where this is getting tagged into the last part of the video, because we don't necessarily do things in order or even by vehicle. I get a little squirrelish, like, oh look, something new and shiny. Oh, new. Okay, so, and then I just have to wait for certain things to happen. So basically, I'm pretty sure where I left off, I had removed on all of this, and I talked about it. I made this video actually by myself. Zach weren't even a part of it. It was just one afternoon I decided to do this. So Zach hasn't even seen the footage, so there's a good chance it might not even be good. So I apologize, and we're tagging in on the end, so this is probably in the last 20 minutes or so. But anyways, we removed on the box, and we're prepping for Vintage Air. That's the whole goal. Why? Because I live in the South, and I need air. I'm fat. So, I removed on all this, and we started prepping in the air conditioning system. And I bought this really cool Vintage Air non-air conditioned box. It's basically, it's just a temp unit. So it's like, you know, when you buy one of them plastic engines and you set it in there and pretend the noise. Well, I set this in there and pretended I was cold, which actually is kind of cold because we might get snow. I mean, I don't even know. But anyways, so we mocked this into the unit 3 or 4 or 6 times. I pulled more of the dash apart, cut some brackets, so we could get it positioned in there the best we could. So that's where we're at now with that install. So basically, as you can see, this is the original hole. I did have to do this trimming here to get these out, because this is where the heat's going to go in here, and this will be the air lines. So when we're done here, I'm actually going to cut a patch. It's going to go right underneath these bolts right here. I'm probably going to give her a little curl around the bolts so it looks nice, and I can have this bolted in. And I want to make this panel removable. So that way if I have to get in here, I can, you know, lay the peepers out and sieve the section if I need to, and then pull it back on. Now, we're going to paint it all up. It'll look nice. And then this will stay open because this is where we're actually going to put our accessory stuff, like, you know, the Holley stuff, the MSD stuff. That stuff is going right here. So, but we've gotten this far. It's really looking good. I'm gonna have Zach, I'm gonna fire up the light inside, which may do the old flickery thing. But it looks nice. We're getting closer. Okay. So, I know we're a little crunched in here, but as you can see, we have gotten the main unit in. See how tucked up it is? I mean, it looks real clean. I mean, it looks professional. I mean, who would have thought that? But, so this will end up being the unit. We do have to run the ductwork in. As you can see, I've removed a lot of the dash stuff. We've actually sent the radio out to get FM put in it, which that'll be pretty nice, because the AM didn't work, and that's all it had. So we sent it out. There's some really cool radio places. You send the radios out, they'll put FM in them, they'll redo them, and they'll be like new. So that's exciting. We did find out that this baby had the dual ashtray model. I mean, there was his and hers. His and hers. Then the glove box. And we have some cool things for the glove box coming, which you just wait. But kind of just want to give you an idea of how we got this fit in. So the biggest thing is they don't make an air conditioning for 55 Oldsmobile, because they don't make nothing for a 55 Oldsmobile. So we're modifying one for a 55 Chevy, which you might as well just say I'm putting one in for a 55 Dodge, because that's how different they are. But we're getting really close. So like I said, it's set up real nice. It looks clean. I'm gonna grab the camera from Zach here and just kind of give you a little eyeball of what we got going on here. Sorry if you got, you know, all of that going.
Maybe take it off the tripod too.
I think we're good actually. So, as you can see, that'll be the air conditioning ducts. Can I turn this dial to get a little lighter?
Should be able to. Other way.
There we go, guys. Look at that. Now you can really lay your peepers in there. So, those four there are for air conditioning ducts. So we will have a set of ducts here, and then we're going to put one in the corner there and one over here. And then right here, that is the defrost ducts. So I do got to run the defrost lines. And then the only other thing we really got to do is we really got to work on this wiring next. That's the wiring. And there's really not a lot to it, and we've cut a lot of it out now. So we're going to go ahead and change that out for that new fuse panel, modern day fuse panel. And then we'll get it all back together. But yeah, that's where we're at with Vintage Air. Currently, we did take out all the controls because we're going to make the original controls work with the Vintage Air, which is, here you go, Zach. Which is going to be tricky in itself because, again, no one makes anything for 55 old, so we're having to convert a bunch of different parts to make this work. It's going to be really cool, though, when we're done, because it'll have the original controls, and it'll look factory. But it won't be factory. It'll be aftermarket. So, I said, I know we're doing a lot to this car, but when I'm done with it, I don't really want you to really notice how much we've done to it. That's the goal. But I'm going to end off this video here because we have a lot more videos coming. We have a pretty exciting video coming in behind this one. And we look forward to sharing that information with you guys about what we're doing. Hot Rod Power Tour is the next big thing that we're actually prepping this thing for in Sick Week. So stay tuned. We're going to be having a lot of content from both of those events coming forward. So be sure to share and like and subscribe. And here at Rusted Up Garage, peace out.